thinking if I move it though, or like red light's gonna go off, sirens. Always understand that was a gift. It's a gift from God that he has allowed me. Let me steward it well. And I have people ask me all the time, they go, Pastor Barry, is the tithe still something that people should follow today? The second thing is this: godly giving follows the guideline of the tithe. And a tithe, it's an Old Testament practice that was required that people would give 10%. And you know that if you've been in church any length of time, you know that that's a truth in the Old Testament. That's the way it was constructed. And I have people ask me all the time, they go, Pastor Barry, is the tithe still something that people should follow today? And I say, well, I don't think the New Testament teaches that the tithe is something that we are still obligated to, but I think it's a great guide. Why? It's not like it was bad then. It's not bad now. It's something that should be considered by us as I evaluate my giving. Actually, in the New Testament, it wasn't about 10% of what God gave me. The New Testament is 100% of stewardship of what God has allowed me to have. It's much different that way. It's funny, when our kids were small, what we would do is they would get $1. We would make sure they took 10 cents to Sunday school, put it in the offering. If they worked at McDonald's, I just heard a statistic which was chilling. They said 1 out of 8 people work at McDonald's. And I said, that can't be true. But I worked at McDonald's, so maybe it is true. But as a teenager, you're working, your first job, and you're just getting your feet on the ground. And man, to see that paycheck come in, to keep our mindset free from materialism, is to always understand that was a gift. It's a gift from God that he has allowed me. Let me steward it well. You can take a tithe out of that, whether it's 10%, whether it's whatever percent. You determine before the Lord. I don't think it's the law that you have to give 10%. Some people will give 20, 30, whatever, and some people will give 5. Whatever God convicts you in your heart to give, I think that's what you should give. But the tithe is something that we've tried to model. And in 2008, I remember as an elder team, we were in the back, we thought about how to do this as a church. And we said, we need to start tithing as a church. That was a weird thought. We said, no, we really need to start tithing as a model that every dollar that comes in, 10 cents goes out. It's not being used for anything for us, just to go bless people. So I remember we were sitting around the table and the elders meeting, we walked through all of this, we talked through all of that, and we finally confirmed it. We made the decision, and everybody was like, yeah, we're doing this. This is awesome. And then you know what happened in 2008? The recession. Everything was sideways. People were losing money financially. It was crazy. So all the elders, we got back together and it's like, hey, that was a great idea, but should we really, timing's not real good. People are struggling. We don't even know if we're going to be able to pay our bills. At the end of that conversation, we were reminded of this, that if God led us to make that decision, he's going to provide for us in that decision, and we need to walk forward, not when it's easy, but when it's difficult. And we held to that, and to this day, 10% of everything that comes into this church goes out to bless people. Why? Because we need to model that. We need to model that. And the reason why I have a hard time speaking about giving is because so many churches is about their kingdoms. It's about, all the things that they want to build in. God has allowed us the ability to just go bless people. Help those who are in need. And it's an incredible opportunity. It's an incredible thing. And I want you to know, as the church, we actually model that. I was laughing the other day. I went to restaurant and, at the end they have those little things on your table that you can put your credit card in and pay the bill. So you do that. I don't know if you do this. I'll just let you into my own head. This might be scary. Put on a hard hat because it's scary in there. But the reality is we were sitting there and I put my card in and then it brings up the tip. And they automatically, it has that like level thing, and it kind of bounces back and forth, but it always starts at 20%. You know what you have to do at that point? You either give 20% or you're like putting your finger on there and going, 18 for you. Or 25 for you. You're going to make the decision. If my service isn't good, I'm like, 20%? Really? So I'm thinking if I move it though, or like red light's going to go off, sirens. I'm a bad person. What's going on? But the truth is, years ago, that's what happened. Now it's just what you do. 20, 25. Hey, man, you were great. And we just bless people. In the church, we have a hard time even talking about it. Talk about giving. And so that's why I want to say, let's have the conversation and talk about giving in a way that's pure, that's honorable, but it's honest.